All right, let's see what's going on here, man. What's what's going on, party people? Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. It's definitely a great pleasure having you guys here. I go by the name of L'Esprit. I am a spiritual healer, and essentially, like literally, we outside. You know what I'm saying? We outside. But anyway, let me stop. Now, again, welcome. If this is your first time, listen, man, it's definitely a great pleasure having you here. I go by the name of L'Esprit. I am a spiritual healer. And essentially, as a spiritual healer, what I do pretty much is that I help you to become Christ like, Krishna like, and Buddha like. Now, what that means is, first of all, I know that is such a great claim. That is such a big deal here. And it is. It is. And what that technically means is that I help you to become the best version of yourself by attaining the highest level of consciousness. Do you see what I'm saying? By you becoming more aware of having that highest state of awareness about who you are. That's pretty much what that do. What that is. Sure, it is a bold claim. Definitely is. you know, but it's doable. In fact, this is what all of our ancestors been doing. When you see Jesus telling you to be perfect as, your father is, what this is referring to pretty much is to be your best version, for you to become mentally and emotionally balanced, for you to see yourself, because perfection has nothing to do with being flawless. It has to do with you being complete. You successfully, you know, unified. This wedding that Jesus always talks about is that yoga, is that unification between the masculinity and the femininity in you. It's your physical appearance and the non-physical aspect of you becoming one. That's what that is. And for you to do that, you need to attain that highest level of consciousness. And that's what the Christ is. You know? So then again, you know, spirituality is a practical thing. So you're going to learn about that today. Oh, you're going to learn today. But anyway, obviously, such a beautiful day, guys. Man, it's wonderful. It's really a pleasure for me to be here today. Not that it's been, hasn't been a pleasure, but I don't know, man. Deal with it, all right? So you're going to have to put up with it. Okay? So, man, it's just a blessing too, man. And on that same note, I want to take the time to, thank all of my ancestors, or my spirit guides, the heavens, the invisible ones, the one who's working for me, who's being my lawyer when I'm not around. You know what I'm saying? I want to thank you, sir. I want to thank you, ma'am. The rooms that I'm not in, but the people, they know who this is and what this is all about. Listen, this is for you, baby. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just being in alignment. Hey, to the pure, all is pure. Listen, man, I can always give it right back to you. But anyway, love is love. I love all of you motherfuckers. And the love that I'm receiving from my ancestors, oh my God, man. It's just too much. They just when I thought like I was a big deal, which I am, they're showing me, hey, listen, man, this is where you got this from. They kept showing me, we're not taking anything away from you, but sir, understand this. This is where you got it from. So, gratitude, humility, hey, my heart goes out, man. Thank you. Anyway, now let's proceed. So, yes, as a spiritual healer, I'm all that. I am all of that. So, okay. So now the way that I go about helping you to attain your highest level of consciousness is that I help you to become mentally and emotionally balanced. Why does that even matter? Well, it matters very much, okay? The reason why it matters because our perspective, our inner vision, our way of looking at things is based on two things. Okay? It's your mental. Oh, you're gonna learn today. Y'all motherfuckers gonna learn today. I'm feeling. It's like that. It's like that. So it's two things, right? It's your intellect, because when we're talking about seeing, having, understanding life, Okay, and that's what I mean by vision. Okay, our sight, our definition of life. When we're talking about this is what life is, or this is what you've encountered, and this is our perspective. All of that is based on two things: your intellect, your logic, your mental, and all that good stuff, and also with your emotions. Oh, your emotions plays a big part. Now, before I even get you know, into those two things here, that already, if you understand that, I mean, shit, I haven't even said anything yet, but I guess what I'm trying to say is when you understand there is more to us than what we appear to be, I mean, again, when we're talking about spirituality, and I'm getting ahead of myself again, I always do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because see, the thing is, in just a second, I'll be talking about spirituality, but all along, everything I'm talking about derives from spirituality. Do you see what I'm saying? So, like a lot of us, for instance, you'll probably hear people would say, well, can love pay my bills, right? And that type of mentality derives from hurt. And because, that they're hurt, then it shaped their way of looking at life. Do you see what I'm saying? If you were bit by a dog, for instance, or if you're too happy too, that's why they always tell you, hey man, not to make decisions. I mean, not to make promises when you're too happy, nor to make decisions when you're mad, because you don't get to see the full picture. And again, this is also very important because now you realize your emotions have a direct impact on your insight, on how you see things. And the same thing also goes for your mental part. A lot of us been trained, and when we talk about mind control, it's been training you to see life a certain way. And this is what happens in a lot of times. You could tell, you could be, maybe you were given certain instructions, and then your experience is a little bit different. Do you see what I'm saying? So a lot of us, we kind of go through that too. Especially with fucking religion. They telling us one thing, but yet again, you're experiencing life. You're like, I'm not too sure about that. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like religion always, I'll give you a perfect example. Like sex is such a bad thing. It's, you can only have it when you're married and shit. But then again, when you realize, when you start living life a little bit, then you understand, wow, it's just part of me. Just like, you eat, you shit, you have certain desires, and then you have sexual desires too. It doesn't take away from you. It doesn't make you a bad person. But then again, I'm saying all of that to say your mental and your emotions make you see things a certain way. In fact, if I'm using that very same example, of religion training you to see things that way, then you become to see life from that perspective. Or most people for the most part, I should say, forgive the Haitian brother. You know what I'm saying? People for the most part, when they realize, for instance, your emotions can actually, block you from seeing things as they are. As a result, those people would be like, you know what? Let me just suppress my emotions altogether. And they calling it, being in charge of your emotions, or, not being emotional. As if somehow they will get to see things better. And allow me to be the first one to let you know that's also another mistake. You know what I'm saying? Because what happened is when you become too logical or too mental, you become very rigid, and you become as short-sighted as someone who is also emotionally unbalanced. That's why you'll see, if you see the movie Judge Dredd, he couldn't relate to the average people. It's the law. The law is the law. It's right regardless, no matter what. And he couldn't relate to other people. He couldn't see the bigger picture. So for you to attain your highest level of consciousness, it is imperative that you become both mentally and emotionally balanced. And that way you have the highest or the deepest, level of clarity, and that's how you pretty much become the Christ. Do you see what I'm saying? I'll give you a perfect example, right? And I'm not going to spend too much time on that because we got so much to talk about, right? A prostitute was brought to Jesus. This is what the law said. This is this is that, and Jesus' response was, well, whichever one of you guys without sin, you throw the first stone. I know for me, in my younger days or when I first heard that, I felt like there was, my vision got expended right on the spot, because what he was able to do was to add a little bit of emotion to their intelligence, to let them see, okay, here you are judging someone else, yet, you're not as perfect as you may think you are. In other words, who gave you the right to judge this woman when you're not even, like in my case too, you know what I'm saying? I have prostitute hoes that are judging me. You know what I'm saying? Telling me my life ain't shit. You know what I mean? They're telling me I ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, after dark, they sucking dick for money. They hoes, you know what I'm saying? And then they judging me, telling me I ain't shit. And I haven't even done none of what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a college boy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying, well, I am perfect, but I'm not saying I'm flawless. You know what I'm saying? I had my little dirt too. You know what I'm saying? But nowhere near these motherfuckers. Oh, man. But anyway, that was just random. But I was just saying that to say, with a little bit being emotionally intelligent, you can relate to other people. In fact, that's what having compassion is. It's like, I probably wouldn't do what you did, but I understand why you did it. Do you see what I'm saying? It's have a little bit of compassion and a little bit of understanding. But you can only do that through being emotionally intelligent. So this is why, and that, extra insight, you will not have it if you just being too mental, too logical. That's why motherfuckers who are, extremely logical, they're missing out on a whole bunch of shit. They think they're talking knowledge, but yet, they are repeating shit understandably without proper understanding. But anyway, I hope you get the point. So I'm saying that to say, for you to become, and the whole aspect of Christ too, just so you guys know, I don't think that part is necessary. It's just being, fully illuminated. It's anybody who has, the proper understanding about who they are, not just from a physical perspective, but also from a spiritual perspective. And that's pretty much what I help you with. And that's the way I go about doing that. Now, when I'm talking about being emotionally intelligent, what that has nothing to do with being poised, or let's just say, how people would say, I don't use profanity. All of that, you may choose to do it. None of that shit matters. None of that shit matters. What really matters, it's you being in tune with your emotions. It's you not being triggered, but being in charge of your emotions. So at that point, you may choose to react a certain way. Like for me, sometimes, I may choose to let a nigga know. And other times, hey, man, I choose my fight. I choose when to speak, when not to speak. And then after I do it, I'm not being triggered. I just go about my life. You understand what I'm saying? Because I suck my own dick. I'm in charge of, I do the handiwork around this house here. I'm the man in charge. But anyway, for that to happen, I would have to be in tune with my emotions. I have to understand how I'm feeling. Why do I feel this way? But not just that, but I also need to understand where that came from. Why am I feeling this way? And what triggered me to feel that way? So now when you understand these things, now it gives me the ability to transform that, to change it. So now if I was about to be triggered, I was able to identify, that's what this is. All right, fuck you, bitch. You know what I'm saying? I may say it, I may not say it too. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many different ways to say fuck you to somebody. You know what I'm saying? You choose whichever way works best for you. But the bottom line of what I'm saying here, to be emotionally intelligent, it's you being aware of your emotions, understanding your emotional patterns, and now at this point you have the ability to transmute your emotions. Now, if you understand that, to be mentally balanced, it's the same underlying understanding here. Meaning, you would have to understand how your mind works, man. You got to understand how your mind works. You have to understand the school that you go to. What is that school training you to think? How are they shaping you to see life? Because if you don't see it, guess what? That's what mind control is. If you don't understand what's going on around you, for the most part, my friend, you are being, if you're not in control, you are being controlled. That's just the way it goes. I mean, I wish there was another way for me to say it to you, but that's just the way it goes, man. That's just the reality. You know, people who are being controlled by school or government or society, for the most part, they don't understand what's taking place. And because they don't understand what's taking place, this is what they're being controlled. This is why, for me too, when I talk about certain things or the government, when I talk, and I always tell you guys, this is for educational purposes, for you to become aware of it. Not for you to go and march, not for you to be like, yo, all that shit. Like, leave me out of that shit. I mean, you never saw Jesus, you know what I'm saying, marching against Rome back then. That was not his fucking purpose. You motherfuckers are looking for Barnabas instead of the Christ. I'm here to give you the Christ. Fuck Barnabas. You know, this is for you and for you alone. And ironically, as you embrace that for yourself, and like I did for myself, here I am now talking to your motherfucking ass, nigga. Sharing love, giving you love. You know what I'm saying? Doing the community's work. But I had to do it for myself first. But anyway, you know, this is what you need to understand. Whatever you don't control, you'll be controlled by it. If you don't understand, you know, the society that you're living in, you know, and I'll give you a perfect example. In our society, guess what we do? We justify a good relationship, you know, as marriage. If you had a good relationship, you know what that means? Well, girl, you've been with him for like 10 years. Has he proposed yet? Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, marriage and love got nothing, like, marriage got nothing to do with love, bro. Absolutely nothing to do with love. It's a contract, you know what I'm saying? It's acknowledged by the state, you know what I'm saying, at this point. And marriage, just so you guys know, was always used as a power move. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say, hypothetically, if I were to be married, let's just say, I don't know, to, let's just say, some high-rank fucking family shit. You know, now I have access, you know what I'm saying, legally, you know what I'm saying, we became, I mean, those are legal moves. Nothing to do with fucking love. And this is why I know a lot of you motherfuckers, when you hear about arranged marriages, you feel a certain way. Oh my God, I can't believe this is so unfair. Shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Has nothing unfair. Arranged marriages, that's exactly what it is. It has nothing to do with love. And if you're going to get married, you better make sure you know what the fuck you're doing, because now this is a whole different move. But not just that. Even the people in our society will tell you, you know what? If you think, man, after being married, this is it. Nah, man. Some people will tell you this is the very beginning of it. What the fuck? Get the fuck out of here. What's your problem, man? Just have this be. Leave me alone, man. He loves me. I'm saying, they love my energy. You know, they all love my energy. Relax. You know, they will tell you, hey man, that's not what it is. In fact, marriage, takes a whole lot of work. So it doesn't justify a good relationship. Some people would tell you, man, this is when your relationship starts now. Now you're going to have to prove to each other, nigga, what's up? Do you see what I'm saying? But our society, when you listen to certain podcasts, and this is what I mean by you have to become aware of these things. If you don't become aware of these things, guess what? You will not be mentally balanced, because at this point you will just be mentally controlled. And that's what mind control is. It's no conspiracy theory. It's that simple. All right, don't make it, like, relax, niggas, relax. All right, there's no Illuminati, And here's something else too. You guys are calling, like, people who are doing dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, if let's just say, I mean, I'm not sure if Didi is in nothing, but let's just say hypothetically, you know what I'm saying, with those parties, freak offs and baby oil and shit, and niggas would say, this is what Illuminati is. Like, what's illuminated about that? The true Illuminati is the Christ consciousness. You being the light of the world. Now other people can see it. Now they're inspired to, to become the light themselves. So if you want to talk about the Illuminati, I am the true fucking Illuminati. But when you giving your power to people who doing dumb shit, either, doing some bullshit, and you calling that Illuminati, I'm offended. But anyway, I'm not here for that. But, I just wanted to, let you motherfuckers know I don't like that. True Illuminati is me, bitch. But, and all of our ancestors, the Christ consciousness, the Krishna consciousness, and all of that shit. That's how you become the light of the world, and you become the light itself. But anyway. So, yeah. So, technically, that's what I help you with, and this is how I go about it. So, it's important for you to become mentally balanced. You have to understand your culture. And by culture, I'm not talking about what you eat only. I'm talking about ways of your perspective on life. For me, as a Haitian guy, I had to, for me to become fully spiritual, it's almost like I had to be Haitian and not being Haitian at the same time. And for you, in other words, you would have to learn how to be American and not being American at the same time. This is where you were born, fine. That's what you speak, fine. But in terms of you being the best version of yourself, come on, my nigga. Come on, my nigga. Come on, dog. You know what I'm saying? So you can't be limited to just because you were born in a certain fucking, set or country or territory and all that shit. Anyway, let's move along. Now, that was part of my introduction, part of my routine. And the next thing that I always take the time and talk about is spirituality. But I'm not going to spend too much time because we got some shit to talk about, right? And why do I always talk about spirituality too, man? Well, first of all, I mean, everything that I'm saying here, the basis of me being a spiritual healer, I mean, it's out of spirituality. You know what I'm saying? But now, unfortunately, there has been a lot of misunderstanding when it comes to spirituality. People always look at spirituality, let's just say, as a set, a belief sets. Let's just say, if you believe in God, the other one don't believe in God, then, or if I'm Muslim and you Christian or you Buddhist, that's how people look at spirituality. And let me tell you, my friend, that has nothing to do with spirituality. Or, let me rephrase it. Spirituality goes beyond that. That's also part of it, but that's like the smallest part of it. When we're talking about spirituality, we're really talking about you and me. A lot of us, we can't really identify with spirituality because, let's be honest, you were trained to look at yourself only from a physical perspective. So when you're talking about you, You know, it's your name, your government name, your ID, your work, your job. Those would be some of, or, the things that you would identify yourself with, but never, I'm saying, the things that you don't see about you. And as a result, then when people are talking about spirituality, it always feels like it's something that's outside of you. And that, my friend, it's so far away from the truth. Spirituality is your very essence. When you understand the essence of, regardless of what your fucking nationality is, if you're a human being on this earth, every fucking man or woman, regardless of where you come from, your life is based as a man thinketh, so he becomes. As a man thinketh, so he becomes. That's everywhere. Chinese has a certain state of mind, that they go by. And if they change that state of mind, just like you could see a Chinese nigga hip hopping, that is just his state of mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no fucking limitations. You could adopt, you could be whatever the fuck you choose to be. As a man thinketh, so he becomes. And that is the actual reality for all of us. That is our makeup. When you fully get to break us down, okay, you go past your skin color, you go past your nationality, you go past everything and all that shit, then you realize we are all the fucking same. As a man thinketh, no man, regardless of what your person, you can only be who you are, meaning you can only become who or what you think you are. And that goes for everybody. And this is also another reason why you'll see, regardless of where you go on earth, people always talk about God. They may talk about it in different form, but the idea of God has always been around. Why? Because when you really talk about God, there's an aspect of God that is in us. Look at the people who believes in God, who talks about divinity. It makes you better as a person. There's a higher side of you. To speak of God or to be a man of God is to be a man of principle, an ethical person, a loving person, a kind person, and all that good shit. So this is what God does to us. This is why men need God and God needs men. Because even the idea of God wouldn't mean nothing without us. Regardless of how great you're going to tell me God is, he created the earth. All right. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So let's just use the Bible. God killed a lot of those motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying, because they were not listening to him. So it's not about, how great God is. Because if that was the case, it wouldn't mean nothing without you. I mean, it's great that God is great, but his greatness is only meaningful when you tap into it, when you acknowledge it. This is why, for me, this is my testimony. Oh, I know how God is to me. And word of the wise, you better choose your God wisely too. Because your God will determine your life. And that goes for everybody. You see, the shit that I'm telling you here, it's not the okie doke. This is not a belief system. This is not, let's just say, my belief is better than yours. In fact, that's what we're going to be talking about. When I'm talking about religious truth, or spiritual truth, however you choose to call it or label it. And oh man, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. But it's all about our transformation. How you are experiencing it. What does it do for you? What is your transformation? But anyway, going back to spirituality now. So that's what spirituality is. So in essence, it's you, it's me. Now, as we become spiritual, meaning you acknowledge the spirit in you, you become aware of that in you. That's why people now, you go to church, some of us, we meditate, we open up your third eye, but you're doing all of that because now you have acknowledged a higher part of you. And that's what you see when you see the monks now when they're saying namaste or they dress a certain way. This is after now knowing who they are, and then they behave as such. And that behavior varies from different religion, or what your interpretation is, or what it means to you. And when you fully understand that, this is why, when we're truly talking about God, it's not a matter of me getting you to believe in my God, or for such and such to believe in somebody else's God. Whenever you having that type of conversation, you don't know what God is, nor do you know who you are. Because it makes no fucking sense. Why would I want you to believe the way that I believe? Whenever, and this is why, I always tell you guys, unfortunately, this is where Christianity has a fucking agenda. They're looking for followers. They're looking for likes. Do you see what I'm saying? Whereas if you truly understand true spirituality, if you understand what I just mentioned just now, it's not about that. It's about you knowing who you are. And this is why, the people who truly know God, we understand God at this point is everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're fucking Buddhist. It doesn't matter if you're fucking Muslim. Who gives a fuck? Because ultimately, what all of those different religions are teaching you, they're teaching you how to go within. Or at least that should be the message, except for Christianity. And this is where also Christianity is not a coincidence, because it was given to you through who? Your colonizers. They change your name, they change everything about you to turn you into them. And that's why they tell you to follow their God. And now your God at this point, just like when people talk about voodoo, it's all demonic. Meanwhile, you don't know jack about what the fuck voodoo is. You don't even understand even the word voodoo, the meaning of that. You don't even know it. Just like Buddha, Christianity, it derives from somewhere. The word voodoo, vu means intro, and do into the mystery. That's why we talk about the mystère, the mystery, what you don't see. Yourself, we will call you a mystère. Because you don't fully know everything about you. And what we're doing in this journey, or in this life, or in this realm, is to get to know you. And that's why the Buddhists and other people will call it the mystics. You see, there's nothing supernatural about none of this. And if there is, well, guess what? You are supernatural, nigga. Because it's all talking about you. But anyway, and then on the flip side of spirituality, they kind of go hand in hand. You have something called the esoteric knowledge, those sacred texts, the writing on the wall. Oh man, you have to become these things. Or the occult. I try to stay away from that word only because, the connotation that it comes with due to ignorance. Because soon as people hear about dark side, here's something else too. Because you associate dark with, with evil. And in the occult, when we're talking about dark, it's what you don't see. Just like the light, it's in front of us. And when we talk about knowledge, in the occult, they tell you go into the darkness into the mystère, what you don't see, introspective. Now you bring that shit out. Out of the darkness comes the light. There's nothing evil here. This is just saying, in fact, some of the basic shit you would learn about the occult is that you have a subconscious mind. Well, where is that located? Can you see it? You can't see it. You don't know where the fuck that shit is located because it's under the conscious mind. In fact, you can only see your brain anyway. When we talk about mind, it's subjective. You don't know it. You don't see it. But yet we all know, you know what I'm saying, there's a different aspect of us. And for you to know who you are, you need to embrace not just the physical aspect, but also the non-physical aspect. And that's what the Christ is all about. When Jesus told you, for example, a man cannot live off of bread and wine alone, but also of the word, you know, that comes out of a mouth of God's mouth. This is referring to, you know what I'm saying, the spiritual aspect of you. Just like you need food for your body to function, you also need fresh air. You also need nature. Isn't that why we do what we do? We go on vacation, we go to party, because you understand there is more to you than just food. And now, you know, outside of those desires, you know, there's a spiritual aspect of you that you need to feed, you need to nourish. And that's what Jesus pretty much is telling you in terms of, you know, life is not just about dick and pussy, but also, you know what I'm saying, every word that came out of God's mouth. A deeper aspect of yourself. Intelligence. Isn't that the reason why you fucking go to school? There's another part of you that we need to develop. In other words, we're not just, you know, those physical things that we do. And for us to be better, you need to develop your mind. In other words, you got to nourish the non-physical aspect of you. That's why you're reading a book. Isn't it not? Do you see what I'm saying? These are all different aspects of us. And for you to attain that highest level of awareness about who you are, well, all of these things, you have to feed them. They have to come together. They have to become in harmony. But anyway, truth seekers, man. You see the title, you know exactly what we hear, man. But anyway, just to summarize real quick, you know, spirituality is our life. And me as a spiritual healer, spirituality is the mirror that I hold for you to see who you are. My purpose, what I'm doing this, you know, I hold the mirror of wisdom for you to see you, not for you to follow me. Do you see what I'm saying? Whereas what you see with religion, you know what I'm saying, this is the only God, this is the only this is the only that. And the truth is everywhere, bro. If you're Christian, you don't know anything about Buddha or the Muslim, there's a lot of fucking wisdom you're missing out on. And vice versa too. If you're a Buddhist and you like fuck Jesus, I mean, to be honest, I don't know any Buddhists who would say fuck Jesus. As far as I'm concerned, every other religion that I came across or I've learned or I studied, you know, none of them had no problem with Jesus. They always welcome Jesus. How do you know, refute a man of God? A man who's telling you, I mean, to love one another. Since when, like, his knowledge was not knowledge? Because he's not part of my circle. Wisdom is wisdom regardless of where it comes from. That's why they tell you God is everywhere. Wisdom is everywhere, bro. You'll be shocked and surprised. And whenever you learn about those different religion or those different wisdom, they make you a better you. Do you understand what I'm saying? But now it's only Christianity, you know, because, you know, there's an agenda. And like I said, it's not a coincidence. Your colonizers, man, the motherfuckers who changed your name, you know what I'm saying? Who's telling you whatever you got ain't shit. Follow them. But that's how they have to be in control of you. And this is the part of Christianity, like for me personally, that I oppose. That's the part of Christianity that I don't fuck with. But the Christianity in terms of the knowledge in itself, the true wisdom, the Gnostics, and all that shit. Come on, man. How do you refute that? And on that same track, let me say to those of you, because I went that path myself, because I knew at the very beginning when I started to learn more about me and studying, and then I realized the Bible was not what they said it was. And then I went like, fuck the Bible. Like, no. I understand. I've been there myself. I was disappointed. What they said, it was not what it was. I got it. True. But there's a bunch of fucking wisdom. Yo, I was reading Proverb the other day. Oh my God. Oh my God. I think, by the way, I do have another channel. To give is to receive. I mean, I'm gonna get a few fucking verse from fucking Proverb. Oh my God, the wisdom in that shit. Tell me about it. Then you fully understand. That's why for me, and oh man, this is in perfect alignment with the conversation that we are talking about tonight. Because the spiritual truth, right, if you're a true seeker, has absolutely nothing to do with, different ideology. If you find yourself debating whether Christianity is the real God and this is not the real God, you miss the whole point. At this point, I would have to ask you, what is it exactly that God means in your life? Because if God has a meaning, then you should be talking about the transformation, is it not? What is the transformation? Meanwhile, if you claim you're following Jesus, Jesus is telling you you're going to become just like him. I can't recall, I talk about that and to give is to and to receive. Essentially, in one of his saying, he said to eat his flesh, and then then you will become like him. And obviously, that cannot be a literal shit. But what this is saying is that understanding. When we're saying to be born again, this is not a fucking ideology. This is not an idea. This is an experience. And what that means is we all were born, and then we were pretty much, we knew about ourselves through touch. We put it in our mouth. That's the physical aspect of us. It's only later on in life then we start to acknowledge, and being born again at this point, we understand that there is a spiritual aspect of us. And that's what the Christ consciousness is. Then as you become the Christ-like at this point, then you go beyond the material. Yeah, that part. Oh man, not only it's time, but it's also confirmation for everything I just told you. But anyway, do you see what I'm saying? I mean, spiritual truth or spirituality, it's not intellectual masturbation, bro. A lot of you fuckers, when you're debating and speaking of these different aspects of the real God and where the Bible came from, granted, I mean, I certainly understand it's needed. But if you are able to collect all of those data, to what purpose? If it doesn't help you to change or to be a better person, what's the point of you know what I'm saying? Then you don't know spiritual truth. You don't know the truth, nor do you know who you are. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why I always tell you guys spirituality is a practical matter. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not something to talk, to be cute. It's not something to showcase how smart or how much you know. I mean, although the knowledge and the wisdom come with it too. But the idea, the gist of it is how useful is that into your life? I mean, so much so, isn't it? Even in the Bible tells you, Jesus tells you, it's not just the one who was saying Jesus, Jesus, but who's the one who's applying my commitments. I mean, in other words, you really got to be about them words, man. You got to be about these things. You know, this is why the if you into the Gita, they talk about, you know, the actual devotees, and I love that term. You have to become devoted to God, the Godhead. You see, I mean, I embrace all of them because there's a certain way that they say this that really resonate with me. And actually, you have to you got to be devoted to this type of knowledge. It has to become your life. And that's what Jesus, or when they say the words must be made flesh. In other words, that which is hidden must become the light. And guess who that is? That is the man within. Part of your subconscious mind. All that shit. And that's how you become the true, oh man, son of the living God, bro. Oh my God, people. Do you see what I'm saying? So this is why, you know, as a truth seeker, if you are a truth seeker, you know, it's not about, you know, how much you know. It's how you're looking at it, which is one, but also the experience. How valuable is God into your life if you're not living godly? Make that shit make sense. It doesn't make sense. And this is what you see, especially when it comes to religion. Again, this is not me going at them. This is for educational purposes, so you understand it. Because that's perfectly what they represent. Going to church every Sunday, some of these things, those are social events. Not the actual transformation. The purpose of any type of spirituality or spiritual truth or religious truth for that matter, it has to be applicable into your life. Because if it's not, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, you guys are just going to social events, man. You know what I'm saying? Instead of going to a party, you just go to church. Or maybe you go to a fucking intellectual masturbation debate and you know, but no fulfillment. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't do anything for me. I had to nourish me, man. I mean, I literally need to be fed by the words, man. Oh, I love wisdom, nigga. That shit does something to me, man. Every time. Every time, man. Every time. That's my nourishment, man. I gotta have it. I must have it. And the beauty of this too, man, even me saying this shit, I'm even, listen, yo, my reward is even by me doing this. This is fulfilling, even by me talking about this shit. I'm fulfilling myself in it. And nothing's going to waste here. Listen, yo, listen, man. I always finish my plate. You know what I'm saying? Nothing go to waste. I'm not wasting a motherfucking thing. I need all the words, man, all the wisdom. It has to do something for you, man. Come on, people, what are we doing? What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? And that's the treasure. Listen, when you find that, man, yo, man, it crunched my thirst all the time. All I gotta do is think about it, tap into it, and I'm being nourished right then and there. But anyway, guys, to all my truth seekers, man, understand the purpose. And to speak of God, this is not some debate. This is not some intellectual ideology bullshit. This is a practical matter. Because as a man thinketh, so he becomes. Just like they say, if you think money's everything, then you'll do everything for it. But if you think money's not everything, well, guess what? There's going to be things, you're not going to do everything for it. It's that simple. But that goes to show you the purpose of the knowledge is for it to be applicable in you. God is a practical thing. Call it Krishna, call it Buddha, whatever the fuck. It's a practical thing. This is your sanity. This is the highest aspect of yourself. This is where you find your integrity. This is where now you become of quality. Oh, I know of God, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm of quality, motherfucker. Oh, I stand on sacred ground, bro. God over everything. Oh, I know about him. Trust me, I do. Trust me. Trust me. You don't even have to trust me, man. This is my testimony. And if you don't know him, just look at me, man. You ain't doing nothing wrong. But don't look with these eyes, though. Look deeper. Do you see what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm not gonna, I'm on some bullshit now. I'm not gonna stay too long. But I just wanted to share this with you guys because, oh man. And once you understand that, then you see God everywhere, bro. Not just that, then you embrace everybody too. Your attitudes becomes different because your perspective is different. It's not about how much you know, man. It's how you're looking at it. To be of the divine, well, you got to have, you have to be of it. To the pure, all is pure. What makes everything pure to the pure? And this is one of my favorite, that's my favorite line. I found myself in it, man. Everything I touch, man, listen, I bless. To the pure, all is pure, man. That's what I do. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I'm giving you the recipe, man. How are you looking at it, my friend? How are you looking at yourself? That's why to be godly, you got to be of God. That's why it's important for you to know your essence. Go beyond what you see. Then that's how you look beyond the veil. Go in that darkness for you to find the light and bring it out with you. Master the men within. But anyway, I'm going to leave it here, guys. Always remember, if you think money's everything, then you'll do everything for money. But if you think money's not everything, you'll never do everything for money. Look at the people that do everything for money. And look at the people that don't do everything for money. You understand now why people are worshiping idols? And because you're worshiping idols now, guess what? This is the society that you're living in. This is why now your clothes define you. And the crazy shit is, we're the one creating you know what I'm saying? You're worshiping the creatures instead of the creator. Do you understand it now? Because a lot of you say it, but you don't get it. You claim to worship the Most High, but yet your behavior is not showing that. Your car is your God. You keeping up with the Joneses. In the very, what you call the house of God, you gossiping against one another. Hypocrites. And that's what the true Jesus was revealing by cleansing out the fucking temple. You claim all this shit, but yet your behavior, it's not it. You're worshiping idols. You keeping up with the Joneses. But anyway, for you to do is to be. To do is to be. And if you false to yourself, you'll never be true to nobody else. And if you're true to you, you'll never be false to nobody else. And as always, the remedy of the pain is in the pain. Aisyen. Brau. Mali.